Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's me, the usual. You're everyone's random shit poster. Anyways, welcome. I'm here to give my honest rating to Dark Souls bosses. Dark Souls 3. I bought the game when it was on sale. I've been enjoying it. I have around 70 hours, I think. Been in the game a few times. And I just want to give my honest rating to all of the bosses. I've seen these on Reddit, sometimes on Twitter, people posting about this. So I thought I should give my own opinion on how I feel about them. Because I feel like some of them are too highly rated for my own liking. Or not. So I just decided that I should do my own. So this is just gonna be one of those random, nothing too special, just a short little tier list that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna explain all of the bosses, how I feel about them, what annoys me, what doesn't. And we're just gonna do this fast because I'm too lazy to do anything special for this video actually. So it's just gonna be this, no audio, no music, no nothing, just me, you, and the tier list. Okay, good. So anyways, now that we rambled 1 minute already, let's get started. We got our first boss over here. We got Scuffed Dark, starter boss, amazing I think. One of the best starter bosses, though I haven't played any other Souls-like or Souls game compared to Dark Souls 3. But I think Gundyr is kinda underrated sometimes as a starter boss. I think it's one of the best ones that you can have. Though of course if someone is not used to Souls games, then they can feel a little bit overwhelmed by how the boss works. But as for me, I've been really invested into like trying out Souls games. I think Gundyr goes into a pretty stable A tier in my books, At least in my own opinion. This is just gonna be fully based on my opinions, by the way, so if this list is not your liking, feel free to tell me what you might want to change. But I think Gundyr is a pretty solid A tier starter boss immediately to just get into it. So next up, we got our Dog of the Boreal Valley, the first of the two bosses that you can fight in the area. I mean, of course, there's the dog and then the dancer, but we're not gonna do dancer now because we're gonna do these based on how I play them the first time. So we're gonna start with this man over here, whose name I cannot pronounce, so I'm just gonna call him Dog. Amazing boss. It's a really good starter after Gundyr. The music, everyone uses it, everyone knows it when they hear it. You already know what it is. It's an okay starter boss, I think. It's like a first main actual boss. And I feel like he should really be placed on... He's not as like good as Gundyr in my opinion. It's a bit on the easier side. But for like a starter boss, it's one of like a really good one. I would say that he's somewhere around B tier, maybe just below Gundyr, I think. In A tier or something, but I'm gonna put him in B now. We're gonna see if it changes or not, and we'll see. So next up, we got our Tree Balls, Cursed Rod at Greatwood. I despise this fight. It is bad. I hate it. The enemy spam that constantly drops down. You're gonna have to fight him. You're gonna have to hit his weak points. And it's just a mess of a boss. At least in the first phase. The second phase is a bit easier because there isn't any enemies you're gonna have to focus on. It's much easier, much simpler. But I think that first phase is kind of drops it down for me into like a C tier, maybe bottom of C tier. I think he's not completely in D tier, but just bottom of C tier in my opinion. So next up, we got the Crystal Sage. An okay boss. The second phase can be a bit annoying to some people. I struggled on this fight on my second playthrough actually, but otherwise it's not too bad. I would put it before Greatwood at least. It's not the most annoying thing. And then of course there isn't much to say about like Crystal Sage, so we're just gonna move on to Deacons. Deacons depends on your build, like a lot. I mostly use great swords, big things, big swing, AoE. Dragon Slayer, Great Axe, the Great Sword, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I think, because of what I use in the game, I would put deacons in like a very mid tier, maybe like D tier. They're very easy, there isn't anything special about them. Unless you care about lore, I guess. I don't know, I haven't really looked at the lore. Deacons is an easy fight, it's not too difficult. You just kind of whack and go crazy with it. Even like a zero Farron Greatsword, it does just fine against them. Just a normal Greatsword does fine against them. You don't really need anything special, you just need AoE. And that's kinda it. But anyways, there really isn't much to say about the Deacons, they're very simple. And it's kind of fun to fight them with Andre and Horus, but nah, it's kinda here and there. Next up we got the Abyss Watchers, the first main boss that you're gonna have to defeat to get the Cinder. It's a really good fight, in my opinion. I think it's better than Gundyr by a mile. It's very cool, you can hear like the sword sounds when you enter the arena. And there's gonna be multiple Abyss Watchers, then when you kill them, they're gonna turn into one, and he's gonna get cool fire attacks that leave a lingering effect that only Gale has. Well, there really isn't much to say about him. It's a really cool boss, it's a fun fight, you can kinda abuse them with the backstab. And that's kinda it. There really isn't much special about them. They're cool looking, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I think they're a strong A tier. Anyways, now we're gonna move on to Smoldering Lake before we get into Volnir, which is the old Demon King. Cool guy. The explosion he does when he's about to die is funny, I think. I got one shot by that a few times, but otherwise the boss is kinda meh. Would put it before Deacons though. It's cool, it's whatever. Kind of forgettable, you know. Now we don't have the Stray Demon in here, but if we did, I would put the Stray Demon in around here, the Deacons of the old Demon King. I don't really have any special spot where I would put them. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good spot here. We can just move on to Volnir, which is a gimmick fight. I very much enjoyed it more than these two at least. So I would put Volnir in the C tier, high C tier. Really isn't much to say about the man, he just kinda does his thing, you just break the bracelets and he dies, and that's it. You can get caught by him, by the smoke, pretty easily if you're trying to hit, and then he starts moving up, but otherwise the boss is kinda simple. Really isn't too anything special about him, but you know, and that's kinda it. Anyways, now we're gonna move on to the meaty bosses. Pontiff, Sullivan. The first roadblock that I had in this game, by a mile. Pontiff was very annoying, I had to result in the parrying a bit. And also summoning just to get past him for the first time I fought him. It's a very difficult boss to understand, he's very difficult to fight overall unless you're not like really used to how he works. Isn't much I can say about him. He's always been my main roadblock, like the first roadblock in this game that I always run into. Pontiff is a strong S tier in my opinion, I think. I really hate the boss, but how he works is really cool. And he always feels rewarding to beat because of how much he can punish you just for the simple mistakes. I think it's a cool boss. At least, like, I would say that he's like first in A tier or just low S tier in my opinion. We're gonna keep him in S now because, yeah, I just think so. Anyways, now we got Aldrich, one of my favorite fights that a lot of people despise. Aldrich is a lot of fun once you know how to abuse the AI and how she works, not she, how he works. And it's really fun to just like get free smacks in, run around from side to side, corner to corner, just abuse the AI like the most that you can. It's a lot of fun. You can get a lot of damage in. It's a cool fight. Except the arrow move can be a bit annoying, which I can understand why people hate it. But I would like put it like right here, I think, just before Gundyr. Also, yes, the way I put bosses in these tier lists, like Aldrich before Gundyr, I think Aldrich is better than Gundyr then. So that's how the tier list works. So Old Demon King is better than Deacons, etc, etc. But Aldrich is a really strong contender in my books. I really like it. Not as much as the Beast Watchers though, but Aldrich is a lot of fun always to run into. It's a very simple boss to just go through once you get used to how it works, and there really isn't much to say about it otherwise. Anyways, off to one of my favorite bosses in this entire game, Yorm the Giant. Always reminds me of Shadow of the Colossus, one of my favorite games for the PS2. Looks amazing, the arena is amazing. Just getting to the Profane Capital is a bit ass, but it's fun. You can find Yorm with Sigurd. It's a lot of fun. I never did the quest for it, but I know you can do it. It's a lot of fun. For starters, they might be a bit confused because you need to get the weapon near his chair to actually use it, but I think the fight for a gimmick fight is very cool. It's a lot of fun. In my books he would go in S tier, but he's a bit of a gimmick boss. I'm just gonna put him in high A. I think he's the top of A for me, even better than the Beast Watchers. I just like the fight a lot. It's very simple, it's a lot of fun, and there isn't much else to say about it. So anyways, once you kill Yorm, you've killed three of the lords. You're gonna get spawned into Lothric. The woman is dead in there, unless you killed her already before, and you're gonna fight the dancer. Which, in my first playthrough, I despised the fight. It was extremely difficult for me to get the hang of, but now it's one of those fights that I can just kinda, speed through without any issues, really. Maybe a few deaths here and there, but otherwise the fight is a lot of fun, it's enjoyable, it is very punishing, and I think it is a strong B tier for me before a Dog of the Boreal Valley, you know. So then, once you beat Dancer, you can move on to the Consumed King's Garden, or start going up into the fucking Grand Archives area. Forgot what it was called, but you get the point. So we're gonna start from the Consumed King's Garden, which is our first boss, Osiris, which I hate. It is annoying, I don't like it at all. It's dumb. It's cool to hear him yap every time that you fight him. Otherwise, it's an annoying fight. Instant charges. The second phase is really annoying, very difficult. He can just dish out a lot of damage for completely no reason. And there really isn't much I can say about him. I just really don't like fighting him. So anyways, once you beat Osiris, you can get the Path of the Dragon emote, the gesture. We're gonna get to those two bosses in a bit, but we're gonna finish off the Untended Graves first with Champion Gundyr, which is an immediate S tier for me, above Pontiff even. But I really like how active the fight is. He barely gives you any time to heal, do anything really. The first time I beat him I was parrying him, I think, and I don't think I really went to that area after that, because you have to beat Osiris first. But I think it's a really cool fight. Champion Gundyr really teaches you how to play the game properly, how to parry if you want to learn that, how to roll properly, how to avoid certain moves, how to play around like fast-paced bosses, when to heal, when to not, what to do, all of that kind of stuff. He really teaches you how to do everything, and you can also get the Coil Sword after beating him, which is a really good reward, I think, and the Firekeeper Eyes for one of the endings in the game. So anyways, once you beat Champion Gundyr, you can start going up into the Grand Archives area, going through Lothric, and your first boss will be the Dragon Slayer armor, which I think is a really cool fight, wearing Ornstein's armor. And the only thing that I have actually negative to say about the fight is the fact that the the butterflies in the background keep shooting at you, so it's not like a full-on one-on-one, otherwise the fight would be a lot of fun. But I think Dragon Slayer is one of my favorites. I think it's really high A tier. Maybe even the top, maybe for Yorm. It's hard to say, he's here and there for me. I'm a bit mixed on how both of them I would rank. Dragon Slayer is a lot of fun though. You can get his weapon, which is really strong. It is stupidly OP to just kind of blast through bosses with him. And it's a lot of fun otherwise. Cool fight, cool arena, and let's continue up into the Grand Archives. So when you've gone through the Grand Archives, climbed all the way up, you're gonna be near the 3 NPCs with the shortcut and the straight way to the Twin Princess, which are arguably one of, if not my favorite fights in this entire game. The music, the arena, the cutscenes, everything just fits so well perfectly together. I know people hate the TP mechanic that they have, but it's, in my opinion, it makes the fight a bit more active than game just limping towards you, trying to hit you. It keeps you really on like the edge on what to do or when you should do things. It's a lot of fun. I really like the fight. The second phase is kinda puts it down for me, but otherwise the entire fight is amazing. And I think it is one of, if not my favorite fights in this entire game. There really isn't much else than Trait, our boy, Soul of Cinder. And he is, in my opinion, just above the Twin Princess. Well, the Twin Princess can be difficult and fun at the same time, TPing on you, the cool flame attacks, you have to dodge, the straight line and everything. And then the sorcery. But I think it's a lot of fun. But Soul of Cinder always just has that mood, the arena you go into after kneeling in the bonfire, spawning into the kiln of the first flame. It's a really cool area, seeing just completely torn up, just smoke, walking up the hill, seeing just the sun completely dark, and the entire battle arena. The setting is amazing, the music, it's perfect. The way he stands up, picks up the sword, everything about it is just, it works really well together for an endgame boss. And lore-wise, it is also one of, if not the coolest in my opinion. Having like the player's soul and Gwyn and everything. And like everyone who's put on the flame. So I think it's really cool, and of course what crowns it is the second phase with Gwyn's team coming through. Just hearing those 3 piano notes gives me goosebumps every time. It is one of the coolest fights in the entire game, I think, and I really, really like it. Anyways, once you beat Osiris, you can get the Path of the Dragon and go into Erythil Dungeon and make your way into the Archdragon Peaks. One of my hated areas. It's really easy to just get lost in there unless you know where you're going. The enemies there are a bit strong, it's very easy to just die immediately. A lot of dragons, and Ancient Wyvern is no exception. Once you go in there, you're gonna just have to stomp on his head after running away from him and plunge attack him, so I think he just goes into the Na tier. It's a pretty pointless fight. It's extremely gimmicky. I mean, it's fun to one-shot him, but I really wouldn't call him a boss fight. It's just kinda here and there. So let's just move on to the big boy himself, the Nameless King. There isn't the first phase in this tier list, but if there was, I would immediately put the first phase into D tier, and the second phase of just Nameless King I would put into B tier. Now you might be asking, why B tier? And I think the reason for that is I just have not gotten enough experience against the fight. It's really difficult to enjoy it. Because whenever you have to fight the Nameless King, You're gonna always have to go through that first phase, and when you beat that and you wanna try to learn the second one, and if you die you're gonna have to go all the way back, fight the first phase again, and repeat that same process, which I think is really annoying. Because of the camera lock, how it works and everything else, it's just not really too much fun to fight constantly. So anyways, once you beat the first phase, the second phase is a lot of fun. I think Nameless King is a really cool boss. The lore also is a lot of fun to read about it. The fight itself against Nameless King isn't too difficult once you know what you're doing, but it's just the first phase that really drowns it down for me and keeps it in that B tier. Otherwise, if it wasn't for the first phase, I would really rank it up higher, but I really can't, which kinda sucks, because the boss is cool and it looks cool, but yeah, it's just the first phase which really puts it down for me. So anyways, then you can make it into the painted world of Ariandel in the church through Gale, and we're just gonna get the first one out of the way, which is Champion Gravetender, who I have not fought against because on my own I couldn't find him at all. So I'm not gonna rank him, I'm just gonna put him here with Ancient Wyvern. I have no opinion about him, I've never fought him, and there really isn't much to say about it. But then on the other hand we have Sister Freed, which is one of the coolest bosses I think in this entire game. It's a lot of fun to fight. Just really difficult for the second phase if you're not too used to doing what you should do, which is baiting out Freed to get hits on our main man himself, the father. But otherwise I think the fight is cool, it works really well. I would put it above Nameless King in my opinion, maybe like around here, just before Yorm in my opinion. Sister Freed is a lot of fun. The 3 phases are also pretty cool. I like the cutscenes and everything. I think the second phase cutscene really tops it for me. But otherwise there really isn't much to say about the fight. It's a cool one, the area is pretty short, and it's a really cool boss. You can get her weapons, which are also really cool, and it just works really well I think. So anyways, then you can make your way into the Ringed City DLC with the Demon Princess. I think it's one of the best duo bosses, but it's not that cool. It's not the greatest thing, so we're just gonna go through these last ones a bit fast. So we have Demon Princess in the C tier. I think it's much better than Volnir, but not as good as the Dog of the Boreal Valley in my opinion. Kinda difficult, depends which of the demons you kill first on how the second phase works. Otherwise, it's a cool starter boss for the area. Not much else to say about it. Anyways, after this we have Dark Eater Meteor. I didn't fight against... well, I did fight against Meteor. I couldn't beat him. It's a difficult boss fight because I just have no idea how he works or anything. So I would say that he would just be in the Na tier, the last tier, because I really have no words about him. It's a cool looking boss. It's extremely difficult, but otherwise it could be fun. I will make my better opinion about it when I actually beat it someday eventually, but we'll see. So anyways, then we have Half-Life. There really isn't much to say about it. It's a useless boss fight. It's done just fighting an NPC. There really isn't anything else to say about it. Just simple, easy NPC fight, nothing else. And then we have come to our last man, the Slave Knight Gale. One of the coolest bosses. I think the cutscene is amazing. The area, how it works, just seeing it all dead, just completely disappeared. Then the fact that you can fight him almost anywhere in the map is a really cool mechanic. It's a cool touch, I really enjoy it. And I think Slave Knight Gale is one of the bosses in the entire Dark Souls. I think would put him like in S tier, you know. It's pretty cool. Cool fight, not much to say about it. He just kinda exists. Talks about the Dark Blood, how he wants it, how he wants to make a better world. And his weapon is pretty cool, his phases are pretty cool. There really isn't much else to say about it. Cool fight, nothing else, and that's kinda it. I like it, not bad. It's just kinda there, you know. I only played it once. I beat it with my friend, and it was a lot of fun. I really like the boss. It's a cool one, but I don't think it tops Twin Princess and the Soul of Cinder in my own books. So anyways, this is my tier list. I don't need to know. I mean, actually, no. I want to know what all of you think about this. It's kind of a here and there tier list, more so. Just my opinions. If you have any different opinions, feel free to share them in the comments. I don't mind at all. It could be fun to see what you think about it. And there really isn't much else to say about it, but this is my own opinion tier list, just a rushed down version of it. I could have made this video a lot longer if I wanted to, but I don't, because I'm too lazy to actually do anything special to this video, so I'm just gonna make it like this, no audio, no anything, as I said. And that's it. If you have any thoughts on the tier list, feel free to tell me. I'll be happy to hear about what you think. And otherwise it's kinda here and there, but yeah, take care of yourselves everyone, and I'll see you at some point again. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, take care.